Remember this Maryland man they kept talking about? Remember this guy? And his wife was weeping that he'd been picked up and sent to El Salvador, the prison there. By the way, he was from El Salvador, a native of El Salvador. He was here illegally. Remember him? And then we find out that more than once she filled out complaints, formal complaints about him beating her. And then we find out he actually did get due process with an administrative immigration judge and then an appeals immigration board, both of which concluded, yes, he had been, or there was enough information to suggest he had been part of MS-13. Remember all that? It got worse and worse. Remember Chris Van Hollen, the low-life senator from Maryland, who is more Islamist than American? That's right, I said it. And remember him? Went down there. I thought they were going to exchange wet kisses there for a minute. It looked like they were dating in some kind of cafe. But nonetheless, of course, later as more came out about this low-life reprobate, I don't mean Van Hollen, but perhaps, I mean the illegal alien, he said, I wasn't there to actually meet him. It was the principle of the thing, due process. Don't you love the way these scuzzballs lie? And then more information came out that the guy was a human trafficker. Wait a minute, he was? And now information is out that he was a big-time human trafficker. So Chris Van Hollen, the Democrats, the media, and one judge, they got their way. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, said, let's bring that bastard back to the United States and prosecute him for his crimes. So he's coming back. But not because of the reasons Chris Van Hollen wanted him back, to let him loose in society, and not because the reasons the judge wanted him back. He didn't have due process, even though he did. No. Because he's a grotesque criminal. And if the Democrats had had their way, you'd never know about it. You'd never know about it. So first, let's hear from Chris Bondi, Mr. Producer. Cut 13. Go.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice. On May 21st, a grand jury in the Middle District of Tennessee returned a sealed indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions. They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members. That is what the grand jury found. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother. These facts demonstrate Abrego Garcia is a danger to our community.
I want to salute Michael Patrick Leahy of the Tennessee Star, the CEO and editor-in-chief of Star News Digital Media. He's the one who really first broke this issue, or certainly saw it and reported on it, relating to this human trafficking. So he deserves a salute, which he'll never get except from me. Now, that said, these things move very fast, and we move on to the next subject. So I want to tap the brakes and slow down and take a look at this now. This piece of crap, this subhuman, involved in so much horror, so much monstrous activity, destroying so many lives. And the knee-jerk reaction by the Democrat Party, by their media, by their lawyers, by their judges, was that Donald Trump, the administration, they were acting like dictators, that this guy didn't have due process, that they better bring him back from El Salvador in this prison, that this guy never had his day in court, which he did, that there was no proof he was MS-13, which there was, that he was a family man, a man from Maryland, he was a wife beater. And Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, and Tim Kaine of Virginia, and Cory Booker of New Jersey, the whole conga line of reprobates, malcontents, and miscreants that call themselves Democrats, went to CNN and MSNBC, went to the New York Times and the Washington Post, went wherever they could, banging their fists on the table. This was their guy, Garcia. Just like Khalil is their guy in New York, the Hamas front leader. You ask yourselves this question: how will we ever get this under control, given that we have one party in this country that hates America? They immediately knee-jerk for the enemy. They hate us. We remember they called us neo-Nazis. We remember all this. But they immediately run to the defense of scum like this. Immediately. This guy. My question is this. All during the Biden regime, they didn't know who this guy was? It was left to the Trump administration to figure it all out. The Trump administration.